using the proper REST API integration. Okay, so the REST API is already developed in the Java Spring Boot. So
so now we are going to see how to create a Crud application in the Angular. So with Java. So here we are going to use backend as Java and front end as Angular. So first we will create the Angular application and then we will go for the API integration with the Java. Okay. So here first let me open the folder. So where we have Angular application. Okay. This is empty directory where I open in the VS Code. Okay. So now I am going to create the Angular application. So in order to create the Angular application, we need to give the command called ng new. I'm giving the Crud. This is the application name. Okay. So by giving the command and it is asking me the whether I need routing or not. So I'm giving the Y. I think we are not need the routing, but however I'm just giving the simple yes. Okay. And I'm going to use the CSS framework. So again I'm giving yes here. Okay. So as you can see here, it is installing the application. That's fine. Okay. So the installation is completed. Now I'm navigating to the particular folder. Okay, here I'm going to run the application to check whether it is working fine or not. So by giving the command ngserve, so it is running the application. Okay, so now go to the Chrome browser and I will open the 4000, which is the default for. Okay, as you can see here, now our application is working fine. So I'm going to edit the default page which we saw in the browser, correct? So maybe I will split the window. So this one, and I will open the browser here as well. Now this is the browser. Okay, so our Angular application is fine. Okay, so here also I will split the window. Okay, so as we know, in our Angular application, so the bootstrap component will be the app.component. So let me remove this one. Okay, so as you can see here, now we will not have anything in the browser because we removed everything from the app component. So app component is the source component for our application. Okay, fine. So now what I'm going to do, let me save the file, and as we know, we need to open the our default Crud HTML directory. Okay, which means this what the HTML we are going to edit. This I have created already. As you can see here, this is I am having already. So I am just copy paste, but as we know, we cannot directly do that. First I will copy the HTML part from the Angular and copy, and I'm going to paste it in the app component HTML. Okay, so now the next thing is okay, now the next thing is we need to copy the CSS. So let me copy the CSS and paste it in our app component.css. Copy and app component.css. Okay, save it. As you can see here, now we are having error, of course. Tag. Okay, so in the Angular, whatever the tag we are using, it should be properly closed, otherwise it will throw the error. But it's showing in the line number 28. Where is it? 28? Okay, okay. And the line number 79. Yeah guys, as you can see, this is the default template which we are going to integrate our API. Okay, but why this alone becomes, this is very small, maybe some of the, because it is does not have the attribute called type text. Okay, so now it is also working fine. Okay, but some of the CSS are not working, maybe we will do it right away. Okay, so now as we know, CRUD application means it is like a creation, record, create, read, update, delete. Okay, this is the four operations which we are going to integrate, and this form is specifically for creating the record. And here we will have the submit button. So whenever the user types a record, he can submit the button, so where it will create the call the API and it will submit the data. And once it submits, it will display the data here, and by clicking the edit, it binding the data to the address field, and this field, this update field will be shown here. So which means this edit and delete, this one. So this once again, okay, yeah, so this functionality, or we can say that these buttons will be enabled only when the edit is enabled, and this will has to be enabled only when there is a create state, or we can say non-edit state. So to do that, we are going to create some boolean variable to hide and show this one. So app component.ts. Okay, so here I am going to create a one variable called edit state. Okay, so by default it is in the false. Okay, so this can be changed by clicking this edit button, but as of now I am not changing. Maybe here I can we can create one more function called edit user. So here this dot edit state equal to true. Okay, and the edit object also we need to mention. So I think as of now this I will comment here. Here you can say, okay, as of now I will comment it. Okay, fine. So this edit user has to be called from the particular that function, which means that edit button. This button is in the table. So here I can give, as we know in the Angular we need to use click, but click function something like that, and edit user, that's it. Okay, and delete also we need to call. Maybe here I will call the function called delete. As of now I am not integrating the API, as you can see here. So this is just a UI functionality only. Okay, so delete also I will create a skeleton of this function. Okay, so now the next thing is as we know that we need to use this state to show the edit button. So here, okay, so here we can say ng if it is state true, then it has to show this one. Otherwise, if it is false, then it has to show this one. Okay, so I will mention this also. So save this one. Okay, I didn't save the file. Okay, so now I think it looks good. As you can see here, now it shows only the submit button because we are having this edit state becomes false. So this will be available, but we need to add this class for our application, otherwise it not looks good. Okay, so now we are having the submit button. So whenever I'm typing something in this text boxes, by clicking the submit, it will call our API. Okay, so here we will have a click functionality. So we can say create user. This is the function we need to call. So create user, and here also I will mention this one. Okay, fine. So now the next one is whenever I'm typing. Okay, so now I need to create a 5 different variables, 1 2 3 4 5, to bind the input data to the variable. Okay, so the variables name are name, email, address, and then mobile, and then DOB. Okay, so here name is an empty one, address, DOB, and this one. Fine. So next thing what I'm going to do, I need to bind the variable to here. Okay, so here I'm going to use the ng model. This ng model will help us to bind the variable from the input box. Okay, so name, but the problem is here we will face one problem. One second. So here first one is about the email, next one is about the address, next one is about the mobile, and then we will have a date of birth. So date of birth also I am having it. Yeah, okay, these many fields we have added. Okay, by saving the file, immediately it throws error because it cannot bind to the ng model, which is not known property for input. This ng model is not available because we are not including in our application. Okay, so in order to do that, first I need to open the app.module.ts. Here I need to enable the forms module. Okay, this module will help us to include, or it helps us to bind, it helps us to enable that two-way data binding in our application. Okay, as you can see here, now it is working fine. Okay, fine. So now this ng model is working fine. The main usage of this ng model is whatever I am typing in this text box, it will bind to the variable called name. So same will be applicable to the other fields also. But why this is not working, this edit state? Let me refresh it. Okay, so now this is the output which we are having here. So which means this is a page. Okay, so now by clicking the submit button, it has to call the API, correct? So as we know, for this API integration, we need to integrate the HTTP client module in our application. So which means HTTP client module. Okay, maybe I will import the proper one. So here common / HTTP, and we need to import the HTTP client module. Okay, so this helps us to integrate our REST API with our application. I need to import this as well, and now I need to go to the app component.ts. So wherever we need this HTTP call, we need to enable this HTTP client. Okay, so now we need to create an object for this HTTP client. So to create an object in Angular, we need to use the constructor. So here I need to mention HTTP client. Okay, so maybe to create object or to inject the object, HTTP client. Okay, that's what. So here I need to, okay, this is not needed. Okay, so now we are having a create user. So in this create user, I'm going to call the API, which is called this.http client.post, and I need to mention the URL. As of now, I'm just mentioning as an empty. Here we need to mention the argument, okay, and then dot subscribe, which helps us to get the response, and this one. Okay, so here, okay, this is like a, okay, so here I will print the response, or okay, maybe this is not needed. What we can do, we will have one more function called load users, so which helps us to load the existing users in our application. Okay, this is like HTTP client, this is a get method. So here also we need to mention the URL dot subscribe and get the response also. Okay, fine. So here also what I can do first, but before that we should have one variable to get the users list. Okay, so this is the user list, and here I can mention this dot server user list equal to response, binding the response here directly to the server user list variable, and this is expecting in a proper way. So I will mention the type as any. Okay, fine. So this is help us to get, maybe I will add the command get the user list here, create the user. Okay, fine. And but still we need to call the URL. Okay, next one is about the delete also. I think for delete we need to call the, I think delete, I think so, but I don't know whether this is the correct or not. But this thing here we need to call this dot load user. Okay, so create user also, once it is created we have to, so we have to call this function called load user. Here we can mention like user is created. Okay, actually guys, this is like a very happy flow, so I am not handling the error scenario and all, only just doing checking about the happy flow only. Okay, fine. So yes, edit user also, maybe edit API call I will call edit user API. So here also edit user API. So here I am doing like this dot HTTP client dot I think it's also post, I don't know. So URL and comma data and dot subscribe. Okay, and yes, okay. So here also I'm going to call the this dot load user. That's it. Okay, so this is how we can have this 4 different API. One is create, edit, load and delete. The load is nothing but a reading the API. Okay, this is the 4 operations. Okay, CRUD operations. So we know what is CRUD, right? CRUD means it's a create for this create one, and read means this one, and update is this one, and delete is this one. Okay, fine. So now we will go one by one. So first one is about the creating the user. Okay, so for creating the user, okay, first we need to check the what is the parameters. Okay, so one second guys, let me check the documentation. Maybe I will create the base URL as the common variable, because which helps us base URL equal to http colon localhost colon 8080. So this is the base URL slash user, I think so. Okay, this is the API, this is the endpoint for our API. Okay, so which means base URL plus and then this one. So here I will mention the this dot base URL plus and this one. Okay, so this I will mention in all the places. So delete and then list and then update and then create. Okay, so this one, this one, this one. Okay, fine. As you can see here, now it will call the API appropriately. Okay, so first shall we move on? So I think shall we call the create. But as we know, whenever we are loading the web page, it should load the default users, correct? That is the appropriate way. So now what I am going to do, I will call the load user from our constructor. So as we know, constructor is specifically to call the, it will be called, this constructor will be triggered during the page itself. So I am calling this load user, and of course let me check the inspect whether it is network. Let me refresh it, and we have to check whether it is working fine or not. Okay guys, yes, it is working fine. We got all the users. Okay, so now we will bind this users data to our variable. Okay, already we are binding the variable, but we should be available in the UI. So here what we can do, I can have this map functionality. So I think, sorry, map is for React, no? Okay, we need to use ng for, I just confused. Okay, let user of server user list, here user, and here first we need to mention the user dot, is it correct, right? User dot name. Okay, as you see in the server response, this is a user dot name, and then next one is copy paste. Okay, so here address, and then what is the next one? Sorry, this is the email, and then mobile is there. If we expand it, we will have a address, yeah, mobile, and the name is also there, mobile, and then DOB. Okay, so this is what about the different way of submitting the data, sorry, different way of iterating the data. And for the edit, we should pass this object itself, and for the delete also we can pass it, but in, well, before calling the API we will get the ID. Okay, this is like a Angular functionality, we can pass the object also. Okay, let me save the file and go to, okay, we got the error. What's the error? I think it might be a, okay, this is because of this one. Okay, here what I'm going to do, I will mention the type as any. Super. Oh, this is because this one. So here I will mention user object, and save it. This is also any. What is this? Okay. I think here it is expecting something. Expected 0 argument. One second guys, edit user API. Oh, okay. Understand. This is not that one, so this should be something different. This edit is not this one. This edit is for this one. I think this is not needed. It's like edit user API. Correct, right? This is edit user API. This has to be applicable for this one, and here it is like a user object. Okay, this is like what is the use of this object, right? So whenever we are clicking the edit button, so this has to call. Maybe as of now, if you cannot understand, leave it, you don't need to worry about all these things. We will see this later. Okay, just I'm declaring the variable, but I will tell you why are we using this one. Okay, let me save all this one, and yes, okay, so now our application is working fine, but this data binding is not happening. It is happening, but it is not happening. Oh, no, yeah, as you can see here, now it is working fine. Okay, my database is already having data, my API is providing the data, so I could see all this data. Okay, so now I think we can, the first API, or we can say the first method called read the data, reading the data has completed. Now the next one is about the creating the data. Okay, so in order to create the data, so which means sorry. Okay, so in order to create the data, so we need the create, we need to call this method called create user. Go to this one. Okay, so user is created, and here we need to pass the data, correct? So if you look at this API implementation, so one second guys, so what are the things they are expecting? Okay, so I think let params, okay, they are expecting the same thing, name, address, email, mobile. I think name, maybe I will copy this one. Okay, so these are the arguments, sorry, parameters they are expecting, so I will paste it here. This name is not needed. Okay, so let me create everything, and I need this property also. Okay, so everything is working fine, right? I will format. Okay, fine. So PRMS and this one. So now let me copy this one, I will paste it here. Yes, that's it. So this will help us to call the API with appropriate argument. But one more thing, this should be in the proper way. So this dot name, this dot, sorry, email. That's it. Okay, so yes, as you can see here, I didn't check the conditions like name should be empty, all these things. Whatever I'm typing, it will come here. I'm not adding any validations. Maybe I will add the command that to do add the validation for each field. That's it. Okay, let me save the file. Okay, so now shall we call this API create user from our submit button? Maybe I will open the inspect as well to check whether how it is working fine or not. Okay, let me do this thing and the network, and here I mentioned the test the email and the test address. I don't know why the font is very small. I need to change the CSS. Okay, test test mobile, and then test dob. It should be date. Why it is not working? Okay, type date. Yes, it is possible. Yeah, it's fine. So dum. Here I can mention like 12 Feb. Okay, in the date I will mention some other date. Okay, so fine. So now let me call the submit button. It's created. Oh, use is created, and the list is also updating. Check whether it is updated or not. Yes, as you can see guys, this is the thing which we have created, correct? Maybe okay, and one more thing, like we need to clear the field. That is also we need to do. Maybe shall we do it now? Okay, so here we can call the function called, we will create one more function called clear field, and here we need to this dot name equal to empty, this dot email equal to empty, this dot what is it, address, then mobile number equal to empty, this dot what is it, name, email, mobile address, mobile dob equal to empty. That's it. Okay, so this why I am creating function is this, we need to call in two places. So this is the reason I am creating as a function here, this dot clear field, and here we can mention edit user. This is also fine. Edit user means it will, once it's completed, it calls clearing the field. Okay, let me save it. Okay, so now we will see, yeah, now we will create one more data. So like angular test2 at gmail.com, angular test2 address, mobile, angular 2, date of birth something. Okay, so submit, user is created. Okay, now the field becomes empty, which means cleared, and as you can see here, the data is also working fine. Okay, so this is how we can update the data and also creating the data. Okay, so both are working fine. So now the thing it is, okay, so now as you can see here, creation and reading is working. So shall we do the delete also now? So as we know, for deleting we should call the API. Already we have implemented. Only thing is we need to pass the dynamic argument. So here we need to pass user object.id. I think this is enough. We need to call this functionality, whether it is delete. Where is the delete? Yeah, delete. Yeah, delete is also working. Yes, the delete is added. Let's see how it is working fine or not. But one more thing, before deleting we should have a confirmation, correct? It's like a simple confirmation, JavaScript function confirmation. So here I can mention, are you sure? Save the file, and yes, it's a can. Okay, so now click on this delete. For this guy I'm going to delete. So delete, and it is asking do I need to delete or not. By clicking OK, yes, it is deleted. Yeah, it is deleted. Let me open the inspect. So click on the network. Okay, so test name delete. So here click OK, and yes, it is working fine. Yes, yeah, deleted successfully. Delete is also working fine. Okay, so now this guys, this is what about the, okay, now this many data we are having. Okay, by creating, okay, in the three properties, sorry, in the four properties, creation, reading, delete. So only thing is update is pending. So now we will completed this pending, which means that updation also. Okay, so updation has to happen by clicking this edit button. It has to call the update user. So this one, where is the user object? Yeah, this one. Here what we are going to do, we are going to assign the value for the field of the input box, then we will do the update. So name equal to user object dot name, this dot email equal to user object dot email, this dot address equal to user object dot address, this dot dob, user object dot dob, this dot name email address dob, and then mobile equal to user object dot mobile. That's it. Okay, so this is the different field that we need to assign to the folder, sorry, assign to the input boxes. And we are having edit state is true, so by default it will enable the button also. Okay, it is fine. So now the first step is completed. Now the next thing is, whenever I am clicking this edit button, so after editing our data, so edit user API has to trigger. So this is edit user API. Okay, so here also we need to pass this new data which the user is edited, and this params we need to pass it here. Okay, this is fine. And the next one is, here we should pass to which user we need to edit. So here this dot this is the API requirement. Okay, so we can say edit user. So if you look at this one, here we are having edit object, right? From the edit object we can get the current edited user. So dot id, and it should be concatenation. Okay, maybe I will tell you the scenario. Whenever I am clicking the edit button, so this if I want to update this record, I want to click the edit. Yes, by clicking the edit, immediately whatever the value available in the table, it goes to the input boxes. So now these values are binded to the particular input box. Okay, but here this edit button is not showing, guys. One second. Okay, so by clicking the edit, as you can see here, now the data will be bind to the text boxes, as well as we are having a two different button. One is edit and another one is clear. Clear means it has to clear all these things that we will see. Maybe we will call this function called okay, that we will see in later. First we will look at this functionality. Okay, so here what I am going to do, update in Angular. This is the name I am going to update it, and whatever the value we want we can update it, but as of now I am just updating only this thing. Okay, so now maybe here also I will update. Okay, first let me check this one. Click edit. Now we need to click the edit. Yes, update in Angular, it is working fine. So so it is working without any issues. Shall we do any other change? So something like this guy. So I will update. His name is like testing update. Okay, this is the name I want to update. Let me check the email is getting updated or not. Test update at gmail.com. okay, the two things I'm updating for this field. Yeah, Angular test 2 is updating for his name, as well as Angular test 2 address email is also update. Oh my god, the email is updating in the address, and it is in the issue. The issue is like here I didn't bind properly. So in the email I need to mention the email, in the address I need to mention the address. So now after changing this binding the value, it is working fine. Now go to the browser. As you can see here, now email is showing in the fine, and that is also fine. Okay, I didn't notice this changes actually. Okay, so maybe whenever we are clicking the delete, it asks us the confirmation. By clicking cancel, it will not. Why how come? One second. Because are you sure want to delete, then only it has to call. I need while put like this. Okay, fine. Okay, so yes, now click on the delete, it asks me the confirmation. Click OK, it deletes. Click delete, click cancel, it will not do anything. Okay, so this is what about simple CRUD application in our Angular, guys. Okay, thank you, bye bye. If any doubts, you can post it in the comments, or any other clarifications or anything, you can just post me, and the source code will be available in the description of my GitHub link. Okay, if any reviews or anything, you can just ping me on the Instagram or Facebook, or to my website www.sripravin.in. okay, thank you.
And yes guys, thanks for watching this video. If you have any doubts, any clarification, you can just post in the comment. Thank you, bye bye.